not as many as you might think there are. During World War II, 20% of the country was in the armed services, but today only about 5 people out of 1,000 are serving in the active duty military. So here's a little bit what veterans look like. Veterans from World War II are mostly really old men. A few women, but mostly really old men. World War II from 1939 to 1945, those vets would be in their late 90s and maybe older. So not so many World War II veterans left. Only about 2,000 or so left in Kentucky. And they're dying at about the rate of 250 veterans, World War II veterans nationally every day. The next war is the Korean War from 1950 to 1953, and those vets are in their 80s. They're getting older now too, from the Korean conflict. Next would be the Vietnam War. That was 1965 to 1973, and those vets are now in their late 60s to 60s to 70s. And then the Desert Storm, the Gulf War that I was a veteran from, 1990, 1991, those vets are about 55 to 60 years old, and that would include me. And then the Iraqi-Afghanistan conflict, the War on Terror, that was from 2001, and it was just wrapped up recently. And those vets are mostly in their 30s or so. So that's what veterans look like today. That's who's out there that's a veteran. Here's a couple of pictures from my service, a few pictures. That's me in my stateroom on the aircraft carrier. I lived on the USS America. I was stationed in that squadron for about 3 years, and I flew the F-14 Tomcat. That was a fighter plane that flew off of carriers, and did that in support of Desert Storm. And then I was also a flight instructor in the Navy. And I think on my next slide, I've got a couple more pictures of the Tomcat, just because I love that airplane and I like the opportunity to get to show pictures of it. So flying the Tomcat off of an aircraft carrier was really cool. It was really a fun thing to do. I don't know if any of you guys are thinking that might be something you want to do. Women or men, guys or gals that might be interested in doing that. But if you are interested in doing something like that, if there's anybody in here who would like to be a fighter pilot, I've got one thing to say to you. Go for it. It's a lot of fun. I recommend it highly. I'm not getting any looks like you're maybe interested in that, but I hope that caught somebody's attention. Go for it. You're a whole lot closer to the age of being a fighter pilot than I am looking back at the age I was a fighter pilot. And within 10 years from now, you could be in a cockpit doing that. And if you're going to school at Christian Academy and you're doing a decent job here, you definitely have an opportunity to serve your country in that way, and it's a definite possibility for you. So I really encourage anybody that wants to do something like that to step out and go for it. So my service was from, as I said, from 1986 to 1996, and I flew the Tomcat for about 4 years. The Tomcat was a fighter plane that mostly protected other assets. It could shoot down airplanes and stuff, and that's what it did. It didn't drop bombs, but it protected those guys that did drop bombs. Nowadays, let me see if I can hit the next one. Nowadays, I'm flying for UPS. I fly the MD-11. I've been a pilot for them since I left the Navy. I was in Japan and China earlier this week. I got back on Tuesday from a trip over there. So I used my skills that I learned in the military for my career today. I've got a beautiful wife, Corinne, and 3 great kids that all went to Cal. My daughter, Carly Sue, is a senior here at Cal, and my son, Philip and Henry, have graduated in the last couple years. So anyway, so we're a Cal family at our house. Just that's a little bit about my background. And now let me talk a little bit about what it is I want to say to you guys. Why should we honor Veterans Day? And the reason we should honor Veterans Day is because you are so blessed. And I hope you can realize that. The school that you go to, the family that you have, the house that you live in, the country where you live is a great blessing. I was just over in Asia, and so many of the people don't live anywhere not near as nice as you do. And the reason you have these privileges and you have this ability to live like this is because the people that came before you that built this country. God has blessed this country, and God has blessed the people here, and God has used the U.S. military to bring a lot of those blessings to this country. And so you may not realize it as a 12, 13-year-old sitting here because you don't get to see a lot of the rest of the world. I'm an old guy. I'm 58 years old, just over in Asia, and I promise you, the kids over there don't live like you guys do. They don't go to Chick-fil-A. They can't go to Blaze Pizza. That just doesn't happen very often at all. So you guys have a very blessed life, and so why? What does that have to do with Veterans Day? Well, veterans are the ones that, in part, gave their service to provide the country that we have. Let me go to the next slide. James 1:17 reminds us, every good and perfect gift is from above, coming down from the Father of heavenly lights, who does not change like shifting shadows. The good gifts that we enjoy first come from God, and that's what, and God uses the veterans and the U.S. Government in order to provide many of the blessings that we receive. And God says in Psalm 100, enter his gates with thanksgiving and his courts with praise. Give thanks to him and bless his name. And so God asked for us, as we acknowledge these blessings, what he asked for us is gratitude, to be grateful. So let me go on to the next one. Great. So how then can you guys best honor veterans? Well, I really do appreciate it when somebody thanks me for my service, and that's nice, and I see that. But the way I think that you could most do something that a veteran would appreciate is to be grateful for the country and for the life that you live here in America. Be grateful with honor and respect for the privileges you enjoy. As a Cal dad, my 3 kids all have played 2 sports all through high school. So I've been to a zillion Cal games. I've seen a lot of them. And some of the games that I've seen recently, we always play the national anthem before the game starts. And I've seen some kids at other schools that don't stand and don't respect the flag for the national anthem. And when I see kids doing that, and sometimes when I see adults doing that, I'm not mad at those kids, or I'm not upset with them. Mostly, I just feel sorry for them because I don't think they understand. They don't understand how blessed they actually are, and they're not grateful for the blessings that they've received. So how can you best honor a vet is to respect and honor the same things that the veteran respects and honors, which is this country that the veteran gives his service to. Although my military service was a blessing for me and I learned how to fly and got a great career out of it, I've got a number of friends that had to give the ultimate sacrifice. I've got a friend that flew F-18s, and we were working one night off the carrier, and we were doing intercept missions. We would get about 100 miles apart and go towards each other, and we went for the second run. He didn't answer his radio call. We kept calling back, and he never answered up. We think he got disoriented and flew into the water. He was never seen again. His name was Dave Naughton. One operation, when we had been operating for 3 days straight, day and night, we had a helicopter that was out there to protect us as we came aboard the carrier. They were there in case we had to eject, and the helicopter had a mechanical problem, and the helicopter crashed into the ocean, and all 4 aboard that helicopter were lost. I had a good friend on a training mission out of Virginia Beach, Naval Air Station Oceana, taking off on a nice Saturday afternoon. Had some disorientation in the cockpit with the student he was flying with. They had to eject. The student got out, and as he ejected, his head went into the canopy that didn't come off properly, and he was killed in the ejection. So there's many that have given the ultimate sacrifice for their country. So when I have the opportunity to think about how grateful I am for this country, I remember those guys. I remember the sacrifice that they've given, and I'm grateful for that. And I show my gratitude for that and my remembrance of them by praying for these guys. Let me try the next slide. And so when the national anthem is played, I take advantage of that opportunity. You know, if you guys are an athlete playing sports or even just being around Cal, you get to hear the national anthem over and over and over again. And I get it. It gets a little bit redundant sometimes. But I try to stop when that happens, and I try to take advantage of that opportunity, that minute and a half or 2 minutes. I just pause, and I do as they ask me to do, which is during the rendition of the national anthem, when the flag is displayed, all present should stand at attention facing the flag with the right hand over the heart. Men not in uniform should remove their hats and the right hand hold it at the left shoulder, the hand being over the heart, and persons in uniform should give a salute. So just stand there respectfully, face the flag, and I take that opportunity just to give thanks to God for the blessings that He's given me. And so I would ask that you guys, on occasion, do the same thing when the national anthem is being played. Just take a few minutes to be thankful for the families that you have, for the school that you have, for the blessing that God's given you, for the opportunity, if you're a team on a team playing a sport, to do that, or if you're a spectator and getting to watch it, to do that. There was an awesome event that happened up in Lexington just a month ago at the UK football game, and somehow it caught on like wildfire there, and all 61,000 people in attendance were singing the national anthem. And I think in these difficult times in our country, you know, this is not a perfect country, and we're not perfect people, and I bet you guys aren't a perfect person either. And so there's problems in this country that we're working on, and we need to keep working on, and we need to get better as we do that. But it doesn't mean we can't be grateful for the things that God has given us in this country, and that we can. That's the best way to fix that, is to start by being grateful to begin with. So it was awesome to hear 61,000 voices singing the national anthem and being grateful for this country. Do you think the next slide's going to go with the video? Is that a no? Okay, great. Well, I tell you what, let's go one more slide then. I'll tell you what I'd like to do then. I was going to play the national anthem, but you guys have already heard that today several times. But instead, let me just pray for you guys and for our country, and just give thanks for what we received. Father, it is such a privilege for me to just stand here in front of Christian Academy Middle School. I thank you for these young people that you blessed this country with. I pray that you will draw each one of them close to you, that you will embolden them, that you will use them for your glory, that some of them, Father, you will guide into military service. Father, I pray that you will be with our nation. Father, I pray that you would heal our nation, and that you would be glorified in what we do. Lord, I thank you for this beautiful land that we live in. I thank you for these fall colors that you've given us. I thank you for the many homes that these kids live in. I pray that you would bless them, bless these homes, bless these young people, and you be glorified in all that we do. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Thank you guys very much.
I haven't had much of a chance to talk to you guys. That's enough. First of all, appreciate Tripp for coming and talking and sharing from his heart. You can tell when he kind of got off script and started sharing from his heart, there's a different tone that you hear. And you probably hear that sometimes from your teachers as well. I do want to take this opportunity because we haven't talked about meal packing yet. And then most of you don't even know what that is because we haven't been able to do it. 8th grade does. But we have plans before spring break, the 2 days before we leave for spring break, we'll be meal packing. 8th graders, you know that means that I'm going to ask you something. 6th and 7th, this is your first time to hear it. So what I want you to have is, as we do this service project, and we pack 60,000 meals, and we have a connection with a Christian school in Honduras, and so our meals will go to those students. So I'm asking you to start thinking about, because Thanksgiving and Christmas are coming, aunts and uncles will be coming, grandmas and grandpas, all kinds of relatives. Think about a way that you could create something, sell something, do a service project, but I'm asking you to raise $30. I'm not asking you to go to mom and dad and say, hey, I need 30 bucks. That is not the deal. You need to have skin in the game. Some people have done GoFundMe things. Some people have sold meals on Facebook, and they have a little video of them making the meal. Someone buys it, and they take it to them. I've had kids paint rocks for Halloween and Christmas and Thanksgiving. I have one in my office now that they didn't sell, and they wanted me to have it. When we've done it in the fall, and the kids knew about it, some people set up, Taylor, did you used to set up a stand at the golf course? Right? See, I'm not that old and I don't forget everything. But people have done, they set up on a golf course and did lemonade stands and made their money that way. Some people babysit, made their money that way. Do not, and I'm going to tell your parents that I told you not to do this. So don't go home and ask your grandma and say, hey, I need 30 bucks for school. Okay? That's not what this is about. This is service. Yes, we're going to pack the meals, but I want you to have some service involved in just raising your money. We'll do it by house, so that the house winner that raises the most money, then we'll have a special deal for them in the spring. Okay? As a school, we're going to do some special stuff those 2 days anyway. Even though you didn't make the coat drive, that was part of that deal, and we'll still do that. Okay? But I'm asking you to start thinking about 30 bucks a student so that we have enough money to do the meal packing in the spring. Cool? Okay? And then remember, you've got some very talented people that are on stage tonight, right? Tonight, tomorrow night, twice Saturday, and really cool artwork displayed over those times. So come and be a part of that. Enjoy that. Okay? But before he gets out of here, would you, just in honor, stand up and let's clap for Mr. Fetter.